Hi everyone, my name is Brandon, and for my Capstone project, I'm going to be pitching my video game idea, which is ATB, which stands for All Terrain Battleship. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So crew, it's time to start your mission. The nefarious roboticist Nebulor has released his robot army and taken over our solar system. As the last remaining squad on the outer edge of our system, you must use the prototype all-terrain battleship to liberate all the planets and defeat Nebulor's army. So, in short, ATB is a 2D co-op space shooter that promotes quick teamwork and resource allocation among players, while they defeat robot enemies and navigate their surroundings in a vehicle that changes shape depending on their environment. So, what is our quick summation of what the game is like? So, it is a multiplayer co-op and it is a shooter. Those are two game genres that I am super passionate about and I would love to create as my first video game concept. Our setting, it is a technologically advanced solar system. Doesn't matter where, it's just somewhere out in outer space. And similar games that I'm looking to, my main game that I'm using as a source of inspiration is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. But I'm also looking to Overcooked and It Takes Two. And I'm using those games also as inspirations just for the level of cooperation that you have to have in order to just complete the game. In inspiring media, I'm looking for a cross between a Star Wars and a Magic School Bus. So imagine the Magic School Bus changing shape depending on what adventure they're going on. We're doing that, but it is a mechanical prototype machine that these space astronaut warriors are figuring out how to use as they're going along. In our target audience, we're going from late teens to late 20s. These are people that players that know strategy, they know how to work together, they have a friend group that they want to be able to play with, and this is the game that they could tackle together. And I feel like that's the main audience that would be able to effectively play this game, although it can go much later than 20s. And then the game engine, we're going with Unity because that is the same game engine that was able to make Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. And I know that if they were able to make that game, that could make my game as well because it's very similar in its basic setup. And then for our platforms, it is a multi-platform game. We have PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. It's not that complicated of a game to where that it can't go on multiple consoles. So our core gameplay, our main objective is for the players to free all the planets from Nebula's robot army while managing the different stations of the battleship. And in the all-terrain battleship, it's going to change form depending on what planet we're on and what that planet's terrain and climates are. And this is mainly to keep the gameplay fresh and new and creates new ways for the players to work together and face the enemies that are going to come and attack them. So our key objective here is to liberate the solar system. So when you get to a planet, you have to liberate the hemispheres first. So each planet's going to have 4 hemispheres. You think of it top left, top right, bottom right. And you're going to liberate each of those spaces, and each of them has 3 robo bases that you need to just go and attack. There's going to be randomly generated robot enemies that are going to come and attack you, and each of those little bases that you need to get to, they're very small, but they're going to have like a little mini boss guarding it. Phase 2, where you have to defeat the Robo Commander. So each planet's going to have a Robo Commander. This is like the big boss that you're going to have to fight after each level, or after each planet. So after you've accumulated all of your upgrades and you've figured out how to use the ship effectively, you're going to use all this strategy to defeat the Robo Commander. And after you've done that, the planet is liberated and you free the planet. Phase 3, we're going to, after you've liberated the planet, you're going to move on to the next one, and you're going to collect a new playable character depending on what planet you defeated. So if you defeated the robot and you unlocked the the alien gray people. Now you can possibly play as that character. And then phase 4 is once you've liberated all the planets, you can go and face the Grand Roboticist himself, Nebulor, and that's how you complete the game. So a quick guide to the all-terrain battleship. We've got the wheel, which is how you control where the ship goes. You've got your weapons, which is how you shoot and destroy your enemies. You have your shields, which is going to protect the ship and everyone inside. You've got the navigation, which is how you see where you're going and where you need to go. And then your upgrades, as you defeat enemies, you'll gain parts from them, which are going to help upgrade your ship. And then there's the button. And the button is sort of like an ultimate move that you press only when you need it. But if you're really in a bad situation, the button is something that you can press and something amazing will happen. It changes depending on what world you're in, but it will certainly help you out depending on where you are. Two other very important factors are health and energy. So your health is the ship's life bar. If it goes down, you lose. You lose it by getting hit by enemies, obstacles, or hitting the surrounding environment, running into stuff. And then you have energy. So energy is what you're using to use the ship's, the guns and the shields and the engine. And it goes down if you use too much of the resources, if you use too much of your boosters, if you use too many power moves. Those go down, but then there's also enemies that will try to sap not your health, but your energy. So you need to be able to prioritize those enemies to make sure that your energy doesn't go down. But you can always regain more energy as you go on. So what are some of the forms that the ship can take? We have a spaceship for our more space world, for a more asteroid system. We have a submarine for a water planet. We have like a military vehicle for a more like rocky plains planet. And then we have a spaceship for a more gaseous planet. So these are just some of the forms that the ship can take to keep it new for the players, and it's going to keep the same core gameplay in terms of what players need to do, but change how they do it based off of the ship's form. So why is ATB unique? Well, it's a couch co-op, which is hard to come across nowadays, and groups of friends really need to communicate and work together, which is something that I know I have admired and enjoyed in games, and others have as well. And it's something that is sort of lacking from the current game industry when you're thinking about these big cinematic games. There's a magic in just a simple teamwork game. It's also unique because the battleship changes form from planet to planet. And this is a way that a similar formula of you're doing the same activity, but it keeps it new by changing the shape of the ship and what you can do in that ship and the types of enemies that you face as well. So just changing up how you're doing the same thing keeps it new and fresh. And also, similarly to Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, I want to keep a cartoonish and colorful aesthetic that keeps people visually stimulated and interested in the game as well. So that's what makes it unique from other games that I believe are out on the market right now. So my marketing strategy is to specifically target the indie game community with room to grow. And I'm thinking about a game such as Among Us, something that started kind of small, but really grew based off of communities playing the game together. I want to develop and maintain a very strong social media presence because I believe that is very powerful in today's day and age. Having a strong social media presence, not only with myself and the game, but also with whoever our developers are, and the gaming consoles. Any way we can get it, we want to have a strong social media presence. I want to advertise the game at popular gaming events. I also really want to have a strong relationship with gaming content creators, and I think this is a very important thing for this game because it's a community-based game. If we can get groups of people playing the game together, popular streamers and YouTubers, whichever way you call it, if we can get them playing the game together, it will show other people that they can have fun playing it as well. I would also love to be able to have the funding to create limited edition merchandise for some of the characters and things in the game, because I'm thinking of it being a very cute art style. So we could have character keychains and plushes and pillows, or however way it rolls out, t-shirts. That's something I would love to be able to promote and have as well. And then for long-term engagement, we're talking basic DLC levels, additions to the game. And if the game has really long-term engagement, we could talk about having a second game. But just as a beginning, let's start with just introducing DLC levels as an expansion to the game. So that concludes my presentation for ATB. And I want to thank the Fashion Institute of Technology and Yellowbrick for this amazing course. I definitely learned a lot from it, and I look forward to applying this knowledge in my future endeavors. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.